Women's power is truly unmatched because the way y'all got on the internet and changed the word of provider to a trick, it's it's gotta be top 10 most dastardly things I've ever seen on the internet. Like asking a man to be a provider and he's not your husband has to be the great, like, top 10 craziest things I've ever heard.
What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got a pretty good one today, man. We got a sister calling out a lot of you women today, right? I would say most of your American women for being, how can I put it, disingenuous, manipulative, right? A lot of you women are, right? And why do I say that? Why do I say that? Well, she's going to explain it, right? She's going to explain it. But just to give you a little brief synopsis of it, it's pretty much women sitting over here changing the definition of words that we all know, right? And just to give you one good example, misogyny, right? The word misogyny, misogynistic, words that are like that. Women have abused that word so much that it doesn't even hold the same meaning that it used to hold. Prime example, if we all know what misogyny truly means, it means the hatred of women. That is the original, that is the true definition of misogyny, misogynistic, misogynist, whatever. It is the hatred of women, meaning that nothing a woman can do will make you happy. Nothing a woman can do will make you feel satisfied. Anything that a woman does, a man hates it. Now, how are you going to sit over here and say, well, that's what, that's what women pushing today, and how is that, blah, blah, blah. Look at how women feel towards the red pill in manosphere. Women will sit up here and say, well, nobody want to freaking listen to those podcasts. It's just a bunch of misogynists. But then when you go listen to some of the things that they talk about, you're like, there's nothing that indicates that they hate women whatsoever. They're talking about what goes on in life. They're talking about what goes on in your everyday relationship. They're talking about how men feel about women. They're talking about how women can get men or how men can get women. They're talking about how women can be submissive to the men. But once again, they will look at that as misogyny. They will look at a man telling his girlfriend or his wife, hey, can you go make some food? Hey, can you just make sure the house is tidied up every time I come home? They look at that as slavery, as looking at that as a maid, right? When you had back in 2016, 2015, where you had the slut walk made by who? Amber Rose, right? She had her own little walk supporting these women who did not have any sexual control, didn't have any self-respect. So what did they do? They say, hey, well, you know what? Any person that sit over here and gets on women about this or make women feel bad about just squandering their value, you're shaming, right? Or you're misogynist. So these are words that are changed that just doesn't make any sense. Let's go ahead, man, and listen to what this sister got to say.
Women's power is truly unmatched because the way y'all got on the internet and changed the word of provider to a trick, it's gotta be top 10 most dastardly things I've ever seen on the internet. Like asking a man to be a provider and he's not your husband has to be the great, like, top 10 craziest things I've ever heard. Cause you really just want this man to pay your bills, and y'all are gonna come up with words to trick men into thinking that if they're not doing this for you, they're not even a man. Then when somebody brought up the logical fallacy, like it's plenty of men, or men was like, I make money, I'm not spending money on you. Y'all changed it to, but I want a provider, generous, kind, giving, non-stingy man. Nothing's worse than a stingy man. Like,
so far, she's speaking facts. And I can back this up by just y'all going looking at my previous videos of Daphne, right, a celebrity, where I'm doing these text receipts where a lot of these women want these men to do this and do that. And when the man says he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't know her or because it's too expensive, what is the first thing that women jump to? Well, he must be broke. right? And she's mainly talking about your sisters because once again, only our own sit up here and say, well, he has to sit over here and pay some of my rent before I can even take him seriously. He has to sit over here and take me to Ruth Chris before he could take me serious. It's gotten to the point, right? Like I said, you're only seeing it with my own kind. It's gotten so bad where women are now getting on men and saying that the Cheesecake Factory is not good whatsoever.
This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
A lot of your sisters making it seem as if Cheesecake Factory is just some one-star restaurant. Now, I've never ate there before because I know how expensive it is, and to me, it's not all of that. To me, it's not all of that, right? In my opinion. But we already know that the Cheesecake Factory is the Cheesecake Factory. I'm gonna just leave it there. So the fact that you wouldn't even take a man seriously for taking you to the Cheesecake Factory, that's an issue. Y'all saw the videos? Where women sitting over here getting upset with men about going to Cheesecake Factory. Oh, he's taking me to Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, look, these sisters prove this sister point, right? It's proving the point even further. So now you have women, like she said, oh, well, I want a man that's generous. I want a man who isn't selfish, who isn't stingy with his money. But guess what? When it's time, right? You don't want a man who's stingy with his money, but when it's time for, let's just say he hits the wall or whatnot, he messes up or he hits the wall at his job where they have to lay off or whatnot, and we have to rely on your money. Are we going to be sharing your money? For a lot of your women, no. Especially if the guy has to rely on that woman. What are the woman going to say? Oh well, the time limit starts to rolling. Well, whether it be she still stay with you for a year, she still stay with you for 3 years. Now, there shouldn't be no reason why no man doesn't have a job in 3 years. That's just me. But I'm just correlating it to the fact that a lot of the women have a time limit when it comes down to a man not being able to provide like she wants him to.
What's crazy is women came up with the word mansplaining as if women are the definition of, like, I guess you have to now call it womansplaining. Like, women literally change the definitions of what stuff is. Like, before, if you go look at the dictionary of a narcissist or somebody with narcissism, this is something with people in like 1% of the population. Women change the word narcissist to anybody that they don't agree with.
I mean, we can also use the word controlling. A lot of you women have abused the word controlling, right? A man can simply say, hey, sis, you shouldn't wear that, right? And I just had a video about this. I did a live, actually. A man can sit over here and tell a woman, hey, you shouldn't want to walk outside dressed like that, babe, because I understand that you wearing booty shorts with some cheeks hanging out and wearing a crop top with your chest showing is going to attract negative attention. It's going to attract guys looking at you, where even to the point where they're so disrespectful that they don't even care that I'm with you because, hey, guess what? You're allowing your woman to walk outside looking like this. She's eye candy for everybody now. When a guy then addresses his issue with that, what's the rebut? Well, why aren't you going over there to go talk to those guys who's sitting over here looking at me? Well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? You're being controlling. You're trying to tell me what I can wear and what I can't wear. You're trying to tell me what I can do and can't do. And that's a very controlling. When the guy is just simply trying to look out for the best interest of himself and you. He's not trying to sit over here and be disrespected by other guys looking at his woman. Now, once again, as a man, that's where you have to put your foot down and say, hey, look, babe, I don't want you wearing booty shorts. I don't want you wearing crop tops. I don't want you to look a certain way. And if she has an issue with that, you might have to kick her to the curb because, once again, she's only going to put you in a bad position. Seen it plenty of times. They change a man wanting to protect himself and protect his loved ones as controlling. When he's trying to be controlling, when he's telling me when I can go out and can't go out, he's trying to tell me who I can hang out with and what clubs I can't go to and whatnot. Like, who you tell me I can't go to a club? But you know what? We even have a video, right? I made a video where a girl, right? She was allegedly raped, right, by some men. Her boyfriend told her not to go to a club. She said, look, babe, I want to go to a party. I want to go to a club. The boyfriend, they got in a big argument about it. The boyfriend said, no, I do not want you to go, right? I do not want you to go. Number one, I don't want you to be around other guys. Number two, I already know how club life is. Something can happen, they will change all of that. They will sit over here and say, well, a man being secure, right? He's sitting over here trying to make sure that his relationship is good on all angles. She would then turn around and say, well, he's just being insecure. He's afraid that I'm gonna go out here and go deal with some other guys and yada, yada. If you just don't trust me, you just don't trust me. Then guess what happens? The girl goes out and go do that. And now look at you. Now the girl's crying and upset, because, hey, you don't want to be with her anymore because you found out what she did. So she decides they have a big argument about it. He says, man, listen, I'm done arguing with you about it. If you go to that club or a party or whatnot, we're done, right? She says, you know what? Okay, fine. I ain't even gonna argue with you about it. Fast forward, Sunday, I believe it was in the morning, right? Mind you, he's been trying to contact her, I believe all of Saturday, trying to contact her. She would never pick up, not even give him a hint that she's okay. He wakes up 3 o'clock in the morning to her calling his phone. She's, baby, man, I just got beat up and I got raped by these men. So long story short, when you find out the situation, she hopped in the car with a few men. The men that she trusted, the men that she said the men that she was trying to go to the club with in the first place. She hopped in the car with them anyway, and they go do something to her. So he was trying to protect the relationship and keep all of this from happening. She decides to do whatever she wanted to do. Long story short, he tries to leave her, right? Or when he leaves her, she then tries to make him the villain. Well, he left me and everybody on his neck. Oh, well, you shouldn't have done that. You were this, you were that. Guys, he tried to avoid that situation, but it was only looked at as him being insecure. Men are trying to avoid women coming out here dressed all certain ways because you become a target. Now it's, oh, well, he's controlling. Until a man does something to you, now it's, well, babe, I need you to go handle that. I tried to, but you wouldn't want to listen to me. You said I was being insecure. You said I was being controlling. And this is the stuff that a lot of you men deal with every single day. So this is, once again, that's not the only thing that women are, that's not the only word that women are changing. There's a lot of other stuff that women are changing. I even want to talk about the other community, if y'all know what I'm talking about, where they can sit over here and say that, hey, you're phobic, let's just put it that way, right? You're H-phobic, right? Y'all put the words together, you're H-phobic because you want your son to grow up to be a very masculine, strong man, right? You want to curve what he watches on TV because the stuff that they're trying to push today on TV, we're just gonna leave it that way, right? They'll sit over here and say, well, you know what? You're H-phobic, you're homophobic. How though, right? How though? Because you need to just let him pick whatever it just doesn't work that way. I'm not gonna just allow, no, like if there's something wrong with my child and he's picking up bad behaviors, or there's certain things, man, that what you're seeing on TV today can change kids' mindsets, I'm not gonna allow that to happen. I'm going to change all of that. I'm going to make sure my kid doesn't have to deal with that. I'm going to make sure my kid doesn't have to see that. But guess what? They look at a parent protecting their child as H-phobic. They must hate the whole community because he doesn't want his kid to be watching this stuff. Once again, it's a wicked world that we're living in, guys. It's a wicked, wicked world, man.
With self-confidence. Anybody that don't put up with their bull crap, he a narcissist now. I have to say I'm impressed. But the provider thing, I just got to go back to this. Because it's so bad now. They done made it to where if a man splits bills with his wife, with his woman, the single women are yelling that man ain't a provider. And the pick-me men who are just like, look at me, I got money. That's what makes me the better man. I pay all my wife bill. I suck her toes every night. They done made it to where them women and the single women and them men, they got a brother going that might split bills with his wife, literally saying he not even a provider. Like, I'm very impressed. Women, y'all brain knows no bounds, because that's very impressive to redefine and change the whole connotation, and just so you can get a trick.
Hey, bro, and she finished it, right? She hit the nail on the coffin, bro, where she was saying that you have, and that's the biggest thing, right? Where you have guys who glorify making all of this money once again, I say that as a man, you need to be able to provide bulk of the bills or whatever, right? You're the provider. You're gonna have men who are successful to the point where they got all this money and all of this stuff. And they're saying, hey, well, look, because I've made all of this money, I can have whatever woman that I want. I can pay all the bills. Just kind of builds it kind of builds a sense of like, dang, maybe for a guy that's under him, maybe I'm not doing great, right? We even had a video of a guy who had tons of money going back and forth with a guy who was just an average man, right? They were going back and forth. And the guy's sitting over here saying, you're not a true man if you're sitting over here splitting 50, if you're going 50-50 with your woman. Understanding that in this economy, man, dude, like, number one, you don't reach a financial stride until you hit your late 30s. I believe that guy was, I don't know, maybe 29, maybe 31, 32 or whatnot. So he was still working his way up. But the average guy, I believe, was going 50-50, right? And the guy with tons of money, he's saying that doesn't make you a real man. And so that's what she's talking about. You have these men who are pygmies who sit over here and just create a false sense of success.
Oh, I'm not a man if I'm going 50-50 with my woman. It's hard, brother. You sitting up here, your nice house, your nice jewelry, nice cars. Oh yeah, man, you gotta do 100%. How, brother? If I'm making $14 an hour, what you expect? You know, you still on there. Oh yeah, man, 100%. You're not a man. You're not a man. How? I'm still working. I'm still providing, right? So what makes me not a man? Because I'm going 50-50 with my woman.
And brother, I applaud you, because I understand that it is hard out here, but we are men, so we have to go harder. I'm not saying or trying to speak down to you, my brother, by any means necessary. I'm not. But I want you to be reminded of something that our fathers didn't teach us, that we must go hard and that we shouldn't get into a relationship with a woman until we have.
Right? Where, man, you have to have all of this money in order to do this and to do that. Man, look, if you are a man and you're taking care of your business, even if you're going 60-40 or 50-50, most of the time, the man is still doing way more in that relationship than the woman. It's not to sit over here and say that the woman is not doing anything, but protection, a woman can't protect a man. A man can always protect a woman, right? A man has to take on most of the burden. A woman doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. So y'all do me a huge favor, man. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and leave me a subscribe.